Are you a fan of horror movies?
Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead.
What about cult classics?
Your move, creep.
If you are, you'll love Shocking Things. Please search for us on all the major podcasting platforms. To see our social media and a direct link to our podcast, please go to anchor.fm/shockingthings.
All right, everybody, this is the PWZ podcast with the Professor Rick Del Santo, and joining me, as always, on this great, I should say Monday, Showtime, Marcel Williams. How are you, sir?
Going on, my man. Good morning to everybody. We here. We doing it again. We're going to talk about the week of wrestling and independent wrestling if you want. It doesn't matter. It's the form. You know what it is.
Yeah, we've got some notes here. I just want to say, top of the show, just want to mention out that Josh Woods, I just read, I have not turned on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view this evening, but I just read that Josh Woods has won the Pure Championship at Death Before Dishonor. It's airing tonight. I'll probably get around to watching it, so maybe we can talk about it in the next episode. And if anybody saw about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, Samoa Joe went online and has relinquished the NXT Championship. I guess WWE doctors have told him that he's going to need, that he has some sort of an injury. He didn't go into great detail as to what that injury was, but it was enough to where he's going to be out of action for a little while, and he's going to have to give up that belt.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Samoa Joe. You know, it's been his WWE run been off and on. You know, truthfully, he should have had a WWE Championship run.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
But I mean, it's unfortunate. You know, the Father Time is probably taking advantage of him and running, and you know, it's unfortunate. So I mean, it's kind of like a crazy time right now because now we're doing a transition into the new NXT this Tuesday.
Right.
So now, I guess we're going to have a brand new NXT champion on top of the newly rebranded NXT brand.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. I think Samoa Joe's whole run in WWE has been very interesting. I loved his initial NXT run. I thought it was great. The matches that he had with Nakamura were phenomenal. His main roster was just very insanely weird, if I could say so. I loved watching Joe for many, many years, even prior to NXT with Ring of Honor and TNA. I thought he was a top performer, and I always pictured him as being, once he got to that main roster in WWE, being champion and being the head of the table, so to speak. You know what I mean? And that never materialized. I guess injuries really got in his way once he got there.
Yeah, he was one of the ones with AJ Styles and whoever other TNA that you wish on the WWE roster at the time when it was real hot at the time. Mm-hmm. So it's unfortunate for Samoa Joe because like I met him one time and when I was on a WrestleMania vacation. So he's a cool guy. But yeah, man, it's unfortunate. Hopefully he bounces back from it because he's really a good talent. He has a Hall of Fame status career, and
absolutely,
you know.
I ran into him. Did you ever go to the Ring of Honor shows when they were in Woodbridge? No, there's a sports center there, and literally, I guess the locker room was off to the side of the bathroom, and I'm in there using the facilities, and everybody's on the other side of the wall, and then here comes Samoa Joe in plain clothes, and just gives me a nod and just kept walking, kind of a thing. Nice guy though, really nice guy. Yeah,
That
just a
happened to me
nice.
with Kevin
Really?
Steen at the time. It was at the. It's funny. The last Rumble that CM Punk was at, I met Kevin Steen in the lobby of the hotel. I was coming from the pool. I was like, "Oh, there's Kevin Steen over there." And I bless him a lot. If I ever meet him again, I just remember him. He was talking to his wife, and I don't like to intervene in their personal stuff. They talking to their family member, I'm gonna let them talk.
Right.
But he actually told me, like, "Hold on, I think a fan knows me," because I gave him that look, like that double take, like I think that's Kevin. I think so. And the elevator popped back open. I was like, "Oh." I just shook his hand and said, I recognize you, and hi, how you doing? My name, whatever. And that was that. But besides that, like, I don't really like to harass like people for pictures or anything like that. Shaking the hand, I appreciate that more. I appreciate that.
Right. That actually happened to me in Roma the first time I met Roma. I think I've told this story to you and a million other times. I didn't ever ask him for a photo or nothing. I just sat there and talked to him for like 3 minutes. You know what I mean? And then I was just like on my way to work. So, and I was just happy to meet somebody that I was like big fan of. You know what I mean? But now I see the guy practically a few times a year at the shows. So, so now.
When I seen Samoa Joe, AJ Styles was there and they were eating barbecue, and it was so
That's awesome.
funny. I walk in the restaurant, I'm like, oh, they just chilling out, and like, I was just glad just to shake. I shook AJ hand, shook Samoa Joe hand, just call it there. Everybody just harassing AJ for pictures or whatever, but it just, I respect their downtime. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Feel good if I shake the hand like, hey, how you doing? I enjoy your work and just call it a day, and that's it. And I remember that more than the picture. You know what I'm saying?
Right. One of the things that is pretty important that happened this week, you made your Northeast Wrestling debut last night in Bethany, Connecticut.
Did I?
I saw you. That's what I hear. I saw the Facebook posts. I was not there in attendance. I actually, had a very busy Saturday, so I kind of. I don't go to a tremendous amount of their shows, but I heard that you made your debut in there. Is that true?
Yeah, man. I was in the Rumble, and I went against like a few legends, like Ron Zombie and a few other in NEW originals, and it was a great opportunity, and I enjoyed seeing old faces that I trained with back in the day, and some current faces that I see on a regular. So it was a real nice reunion, a real nice environment, and I enjoyed it. Hopefully I'll be back there again.
I hope so. They I hate to say it, but they're probably one of the bigger organizations in the Northeast. Out of they book a lot of big names, so it's a lot of really good exposure for certain guys. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that the video comes out because they're on the High Spots network where they release a lot of their shows. So was it recorded?
It was recorded.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Oh, awesome.
So
Awesome.
when it releases, I'll let people know. Yeah, I was in the Rumble, and I did some work. I got the little pop because people kind of remember me. Some people remember me. Some people don't know me. It was a great time to be there, and I enjoyed it. I mostly enjoyed it being around the old faces.
Right.
It was a special tribute show for Big Jim Anderson, where a portion of the proceeds go towards. But not only on top of that, it was just I enjoy seeing Lucas Sharp and Brian Anthony and Waves and Curve. See them on a regular, but still, like, it was just good to see like the faces of old. Just I don't mean old. I don't want to get no heat. But,
yeah, no. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like it's just different people that you might not run into as often. You know what I mean? They're doing on their own path in the business.
I got a lot of good praises where people's good, and
Good.
I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? It's just I like a family brotherhood environment. That's what it was.
Right. How was the tribute to Jim at the event?
It was the tribute in the beginning of the show, and they had a rumble in the beginning of the show, and then they had a few matches after that, and it was straight through, real good. Enjoyed it. Lombardi was great with me. Charged at NEW, so I don't have no issues, none at all with NEW. It was a great opportunity, and hopefully I'll be back there again. Like you
I
said,
hope
it's
so.
exposure.
Exactly. So, do you have any? What do you have on your notes today? What do you want to talk about as far as the week in wrestling? Would you like to start?
Oh man, Can we talk about Raw first?
I started it. I watched most of it, and I'd have to tell you that if you bring up something, I might not remember it. So there's a good chance of that. So let's get into that.
Yeah, I just know bullet points. I mean, truthfully,
Yeah.
I did watch 3 hours. Don't get me wrong, but the main thing is the continued story of Damian Priest. You can tell like the backstage area has a really good love for Damian Priest. He has sit here and showed continuously his great work and improving. And he's not nobody that's from the center. He's from the Monster Factory. He went to New Japan. He did art. So he's already seasoned. So basically, he been having some good matches, which is the best show, which was Sheamus and Drew McIntyre.
Right.
So the way I see it, I think Drew McIntyre may be getting shipped to SmackDown because there's no way he's losing that many times. There's no way. You cannot tell me.
I wouldn't mind. Well, because they're doing the draft soon, are they not? Didn't they just announce that it's coming up? And that's to shake a few things up. You know what I mean? Which is good. Possibly with the NXT, the change in NXT coming up. Sounds like they could probably. Wouldn't you think, at least, that they would be involved, or at least more involved than they have in, say, the last year or two?
They would be, but I mean, it was just that 1 year where they had all brands important, and then they didn't do it last year because obviously AEW's ratings, and then they switched days, and it's just I don't know, dude. I mean, truthfully, I think they're just gonna keep NXT as developmental. I just don't want to answer no questions until I see tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Was it
tomorrow? Because
no Tuesdays?
Yeah, I can't wait. Just see how that first episode's gonna do, and then
that's when they're going to be working with the new logo and all that other fancy stuff.
Yeah.
And somebody posted or somebody commented on something they had posted regarding the new NXT. Are they going to be using a studio type setting? I didn't think so. I thought it was just going to be. Is it?
The commercial that's been advertised, I know I've seen the blueprints of is being done like a Thunderdome setting, but with fans there. So so basically it will be redone. It won't be that dark setting like they've been doing on a regular, like the the Capitol Wrestling arena.
I like that. The Capitol Wrestling. I like the Capitol Wrestling Center. Yeah.
They had paper. So I mean, it's not like they named the place just to be. It has the history behind it, but basically, I guess Vince and whoever in charge didn't like it, and so now they're trying to revamp it. And
of course,
I mean, I hope for the best, dude. I mean, I hope for the best because truthfully, we don't need another Raw or SmackDown. So
we definitely don't because I've turned and
SmackDown was kind of good. So it was real good. So I there shit on SmackDown, but yeah,
I try not to shit on anything, but it's very difficult not to, and it's very difficult to not to turn away from it. I mean, it's very difficult to not turn away from the products. Excuse me, I don't. And if it's just another Raw or SmackDown, it's just like. I'm gonna have I just feel like I might have to in a way because it's like I don't need another 2 hours of the same thing that we're getting on those other two shows. They're not striking that full interest that they did many years ago. If that makes sense.
Bully says you just don't want to It has to be. I mean, it's been going on for years, dude. Ever since WWE tried to split brand extension or whatever it is, you could tell the difference between what's. You can't tell the difference. It's still the same product. There's only one time that I can say that it was legit different. Paul Heyman was in charge of SmackDown, and then you had Eric Bischoff in charge of Raw. And it was like a real big difference. But if it's nothing where you have Vince in hands in both of them, which I'm not saying that he never did. Like if he have his hands legit in both of them, it's still gonna be the same product. It's like it's the same product. It's no different.
They don't try to make it any different other than say the coloring of the brand with the red and the blue, because the shows are written out the same way, the same kind of approach to, there's a 20-minute promo in the beginning and then it leads to a match or something to that effect. You get what I'm saying here?
So it's just, you can tell the difference between AEW, which we'll sing to in a minute. You can tell the difference between AEW and WWE. WWE starts off with a minute promo and whatever they need to do to set up for that night of show. And then you got AEW who starts off with the action, then they put the promo later on and show in the second hour. It's and that's how Nitro was. That's how you're supposed to make the difference. Is a real big difference. You can't tell the difference whether it's SmackDown or Raw because you just look at it. You're like, okay, well, SmackDown just did a 20-minute promo in the beginning, just like Raw did. So how can I get invested in this brand? Because it's the same brand, it's the same company, it's on the same umbrella. NXT was different, you know what I'm saying? They start off with wrestling action, they do little promos in between, and they build up, and it was only an hour, just like Rampage. So, storylines out the way, and then you got the big takeover event at the end of the month. So
when NXT was 1 hour on Wednesday nights on the network, it was more intriguing because it was 60 minutes of action. It was not, you wouldn't get a 20-minute promo because most likely a match is going to take about 20 to 30 minutes, one of the matches. And they were top quality matches. You'd only get like at least 3 matches at the most, or you know what I mean? So I don't really see like what was really wrong with that formula, but you knew once they were going to cable TV, there's going to be other things like advertisers and stockholders and all that other fun stuff was going to get involved and change the product once it was going to 2 hours.
So it's just I watch Raw as it's a job. I'm saying it's a job watching Raw. Or now since I've been doing this podcast with you, now it's a job because now I sit there for 3 hours. I watch it. Points, the Alexa Bliss and Charlotte thing keep brewing, and just build with Bobby Lashley and with RK Bro, and I'm gonna be honest, the Riddle and Randy Orton program is real. It's interesting. It keeps that Raw. It keeps Raw going. It's not for everybody.
I'm disappointed you said that, but whatever,
It's not for everybody, but see, I understand the entertainment.
Right. I get you.
Man, it's like when they do their little skits and stuff, I'm like, okay, they get that person that's not into wrestling. They get that person that's sitting there and watching shows like The Office, Sign or something like that.
Right.
So, you understand how you feel because I feel the same way. I like why, but then I'm like,
they're a mismatched team, and you could tell like one of the common things that happens is that every time that Riddle says something, you can see Randy Orton stare at him, like side eye him, like, are you serious? Kind of a look like, or is this really happening, or are you that much of an idiot type of reaction, which is the funny part to it. Riddle, I loved when he was in NXT and in the indies and stuff like that. They took that stoner persona once he went to the, and they turned it up to 11. You know what I mean? So it just became more annoying in a way.
Yes, right. You're right.
So,
You're so right.
but you know, I mean, I'm not going to take away that he's a talented wrestler because he actually is. Like those matches he had with Roderick Strong in NXT were phenomenal. You know what I mean? And that's just one example.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's one of the most watched things to watch on Raw. It's not a lot of things to talk about on Raw. It's unfortunate because I like the Raw. Let's segue from primetime wrestling. Raw was the thing to watch. Now it's like,
Well, I mean, that was 30 years ago almost, probably, right? 25 years ago. Yeah, roughly 93. And I'm not saying like I hate it altogether because I liked it in the beginning when they were in the Manhattan Center. They had squash matches and such, you know what I mean? And it was a lot of fun to watch because it was usually one, I'm trying to think of how to say it, like one feature matchup or one main event, television main event type matchup. And it was kind of enjoyable. But then they started taking it more and more with, they started weaning out the enhancement talent more and then bringing in the more, you know, the competitive matches, so to speak. So, so it was just change. And I really, I always liked, the smaller setting of the Manhattan Center. I've seen them there. What the hell is that group there? ECW is there. Sorry. I couldn't think of what the hell ECW was all of a sudden. And then the end, Jim Crockett ran a show there. And it's a cool little venue,
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the Manhattan Center venue. It was real different from what WWF at the time did. It was had the I wasn't doing a podcast around that time, but when they had the reunion episode of them being at Manhattan Center, and they didn't do not one match at the Manhattan Center. I just wish they did the whole show
they
at
really
the Manhattan
did.
Center.
I
think they did.
Wasn't DX there? Michaels and Triple H? I could be completely off.
That was just segment. They didn't have like a match in general. They had Undertaker come out do a promo, and that was it.
That's ridiculous. I thought that there was.
They had some matches that's on a DVD set at the time. They do got some matches on there that they did do for the crowd there, but wish that they did the whole show there because that's the place where it all started, and it's like a environment that we really don't do that often. So it's just unfortunate that they just went there and they just did that on TV.
Yeah, it was a very unique setting, and then they would very rarely, every so often, travel outside of the Manhattan Center. I was, very early in those early days, I think 93, 94, I ended up before they would come to New Haven around that same time period. And then go back to the Manhattan Center for like the following taping, which would be like a couple of weeks later. They was filmed 3 shows at a time, and it was only an hour, and that was the fun part about Monday Night Raw back in the early 90s. So, and now it's 3 hours, and they're forcing their fans to sit through it. I don't know how many people actually sit through the full 3 hours. That's the thing I'd really like. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine everybody that watches pro wrestling, professional wrestling, sports entertainment sitting from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. It's very hard for me to sit in one sitting. I usually do it in 2. So, I'll watch.
It's the 18 to 49 demographic. So around those people are kind of like watching it. That's probably regulars, but you got the over 50 that continuously watch WWE that's been watching for years. Yeah. So because that's the biggest demographic as well, which is the 50 and over. But unfortunately, and this is why I don't understand why people don't say this about the ratings, why the ratings was 5 point something years ago. Half of those fans if they didn't, that's fine. They have passed away. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand.
That's a good way to look at it. Actually, I never really thought about that. But go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, you're good. Nah, you gotta understand. They passed away. Like my grandfather watched Monday Night Raw faithfully every Monday. Doesn't matter what generation it was. He watched from primetime wrestling all the way down to the current. So you gotta understand, he passed away like 2 or 3 years ago. So basically, like half these people, they probably passed away, and those numbers went down. And some people just don't. I listen to a lot of podcasts all the time, and they say, "Oh, well, maybe they turned around and watched something else." Yes, you may be right, but at the end of the day, you understand WWE have a over 50 demographic. You don't know what those people play. You don't know whether it's
Some of them might be, and I'm not to take away from what you said, but some of them might be people that were watching that very heavily in college. You know what I mean? On Monday nights, they were sitting around drinking their rooms, drinking in the frat room, in the dorm rooms, whatever, getting wild and crazy and watching Monday Night Raw because it was one of the wildest things on TV at that point. And once you get out of that group, yeah. I mean, I know when I was in my 20s and the 90s, I know what the hell I was doing, you know what I mean? So I know I was drinking quite a bit and in the bars every night, but I would always have the Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Show on every week. So it could be
right though, because now, I mean, certain times, for instance, when they have the Legends nights, they have 2 million viewers. So there's someone watching something, and then all of a sudden they pop back up like, oh, well, I want to see Hogan, I want to see Austin again, or whoever they are that they loved back when they was younger. So it could be that, it could be they grew out of it, and then it ended up watching Chicago Fire or something.
So I really like like when they do the we'll get back to the week in wrestling, but when they do the WWE old school stuff and they bring back certain people, like I think it was one of them, they brought back Sean Mooney, and I was just like, oh, I was like, I popped because I think that I'm a huge Sean Mooney fan. I listened to every episode of his podcast. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun talking about him working in WWF at that time period with his guests, and then they had like a Lord Alfred Hayes imitator during the promotional consideration portion of the show. So it was just cool to listen to that stuff,
it was a fun time. That's all I gotta say. It was a fun time.
Absolutely.
I mean, my father didn't like wrestling. He still don't like wrestling to this day. So maybe our time was real good, and maybe the kids around this time is real good for them. So I'm just gonna have an open mind towards.
I gotta thank my father. As much as he didn't like it, he took me to the old New Haven Coliseum quite a bit. Even though he didn't like wrestling, so he.
My first event was the 2002. It was a 2002 Raw that emanated from Bridgeport. That's the first event I ever went to. And I was like, I've never been to. I got my own money. I went, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what it's like. Yeah. I hear people that say they was at Nitro and all of this. I wish I was at Nitro.
I can tell you, I went to the one in Hartford where the Warrior came back. I was at that one. I was at a WCW house show in Hartford shortly before that, probably the year prior to that. I don't really, honestly, the only person I remember being at the house show was Hacksaw Duggan. I'd have to ask my buddy because he's got like a memory that's like, impeccable. Like he could remember things like that. I'm trying to think of what others, I remember do you remember, what was it, Austin that got hung on the crucifix in New Haven Coliseum? I was at that show. I remember that one in particular. And that was the first night I actually met Big Daddy on a personal level, was later on in that evening. So at a bar where me and my buddies went to afterwards because the
bar.
I could tell you exactly where it was. Yeah. So we ended up meeting up. A friend of mine who was mutual friends with Jason Knight, who was in ECW. We met up with Jason Knight shortly after that. And I remember Big Daddy was there to meet up with Jason Knight as well. So, that was the first night that we just sat around drinking beers with Jason Knight. So, yeah, I could think of, a number of really cool shows that I was at that time period. For Monday Night Raw from New Haven, I saw Razor Ramon win the Intercontinental Belt for his first time. If you remember correctly, I think it was a Battle Royal. Him and Rick Martel were like the last remaining guys, and then they fought the next week. but it was actually later on in the evening. So, and then that's where Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, won the belt. Was in New Haven, Connecticut. So I was at that show.
Good match.
I mean, those two guys are phenomenal workers. Rick Martel, I don't think in this day and age gets his due. He's former AWA World Champion. He does not get the recognition.
His WCW run get looked over a lot too because he came in there and he had good matches with Booker T. Like,
Underrated.
This guy, like, he should be a Hall of Famer. Like,
Absolutely. I'm sure it's only a matter of time. And he's one of those guys that does not get out there. He's not, a lot of these guys are coming out of the woodwork, you know what I mean, for autograph signings and stuff like that. And certain guys are like, why the hell aren't they coming out? Martel's one of them. You'd think that I got a picture of Tito Santana autographed. Rick Martel's standing next to him. I need to get that autograph by Martel. I'm telling you. So please, Rick Martel, if you ever hear this, come out.
Yes, that's door running. Come on.
There you go. No, but serious. We've been lucky. Connecticut has been lucky for a lot of really good shows and very good, important moments for things that happen on Monday Night Raw. You know what I mean? Even in Money in the Bank that happened, in 2018, 2019. You know what I mean? We saw Brock Lesnar come out of nowhere to win the Money in the Bank, which was just, like I said, I think we discussed this a few weeks ago, that it was just like, I liked it because it was shocking and nobody knew that it was going to happen, while the entire place was so pissed off, like legitimately pissed off. Not because they're supposed to be pissed off, but because they were legitimately pissed off because they didn't want to see it. So,
Exactly.
So what else?
I mean, let's talk about your favorite, because I know we talked about this early in the week. AEW Dynamite.
I'm going to tell you, dude. While the show as a whole was okay, the pay-per-view, now, we did a pay-per-view review. Now, anybody listening that has not heard the pay-per-view, we praised the show and said how awesome it really was. It was probably the best AEW show that was put on. Now, if anybody... See, there you go. Now, if you saw it, Minoru Suzuki came out after the Moxley match, and so I was extremely excited that they announced that Suzuki and Moxley were going to meet on Dynamite. Mind you, the build-up throughout the entire 2 hours was pretty okay. Like I said, pretty okay. I didn't say awesome. They gave him 8 freaking minutes after the damn introductions. And there was picture-in-picture for about a good 2 to 3 minutes of that, so we really only probably saw about 6 minutes. And I got to tell you, for a match of that caliber that was built up the way it was, and that would probably just be an amazing match, I was sorely disappointed, because I know I said this to you throughout the week, that the picture-in-picture really distracts me and makes me lose interest in what I'm watching.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Sometimes I never come back from it. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sometimes I just never come back from that picture-in-picture. I'm just like, well, fuck it. You know what I mean?
I fully agree. When I watch picture-in-picture, it get annoying after watching the match. Truthfully, I wish they did just like what Nitro did. They just have the match and then the commercial right after.
That's not so bad. Yeah. Right.
They don't do. I guess they like. I don't know what the issue is with that. Because if you could do it back in the day, you could do it now. So I don't understand. But
it's all about money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Guy, that's gonna be our new trademark. There we go. That's what it is.
You're gonna make that. That's gonna be a new It's gonna be a new PWZ shirt right there. So.
Yeah, it's just this, man. It's just
it's all about money. It's like, let's see, like these companies.
NXT.
Yeah.
But now you don't got NXT no more. So now you could just go to commercial.
it's basically these companies are like, how can we make more money? You know what I mean? Oh, we can add more commercials during the matches instead of going to commercial, and then, you know what I mean? It's just, it's very hurtful to the product, I think. And I've been saying that a very long time. I've tweeted about it many, many times. I lose interest in that altogether. I really do. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes I never come back, and I'm just like, well, fuck it. I don't want to finish watching this because like it's not gathering me. When you watch a match, okay, Marcel, you're in this industry. You work matches like. The build-up from the beginning of the match, the psychology, the story that is being told from the beginning of the match moving forward is what grasps you. Correct? Like
It does. You gotta understand too.
Do you think? Sorry, go ahead.
Nah, you gotta understand that it's TV,
Right.
so
Yes.
basically, if you're back there and they say you got 6 minutes or 8 minutes, you gotta follow that time because you're now on TV. It's now no longer a house show, but you gotta understand the structure that I don't understand is because the way Nitro did it, legit, where I watched it was they have their little matches that was 6 minutes or 8 minutes, and they're done commercial and come back and they do a promo in between, and then Gene Oakland goes to commercial again. So you got that little commercial, you got the little 2 commercials in at that time, and you got the last commercial break for the main event, which the main event never got cut.
Right.
So now it's so different now because now you would think that if you have a main event segment, you don't have no commercials. So you'd be like, okay, you did all these commercials between 8 and 9:30. So basically, you squeeze the extra one probably in between that 8 and 9:30 period. So 9:30, truthfully, the last commercial break should have been after the Elite and Brian Danielson segment.
Right.
That should have been it. It should have said that was the final commercial break, and then bam. But the thing is, there's no excuse for AEW for doing that because if they, at the end of the day, you say it again. It's a new company, but there's no excuse though. You should have timed the show. You should have sat here if you didn't need a promo that didn't need to be in there or whatever it is. Should have took it out. I feel like they should have just did Adam Cole and then Daniel Bryan for Rampage. Just spread it out because now you got content on Friday nights. So you need somebody to grab in with the Daniel Bryan. So it's just it's a learning experience. It's just you just don't need to put everything in one show when you got 2 hours.
That's the thing, yeah. You're like you said, it is a new company. It's been together about 2 years, right? Roughly, maybe. Well, not including the pay-per-views prior to actually a television show starting. So, like, they're still learning their ways. Like, they need to spread things out a little bit more, which I totally agree. They don't do a terrible job. It's just like that if you're building up for a match, how often is Minoru Suzuki going to come on and wrestle on American television? That's the other thing. And
fun
so
fact, at a stadium show. So I mean, truthfully, I'm glad that they bring him back for that big show. So I'm glad for that too. I'm sorry.
No. It's just the point. It's just like there's probably a lot of people excited to watch that match. I would assume, at least. I mean, that's the way that it came off based on who he was. So it was just disappointing in that matter. So I had to go off on a rant on that. I'm sorry to everybody that had to actually tolerate me. It's been bothering me since Wednesday evening. So that's pretty much my.
I understood.
I think I texted you the next morning to tell you. I was like, man, we got something to talk about this weekend because that shit pissed me off so much.
I understood it. And you're not the only one. There was other people that was like really pissed off about it. And I fully understand it, but maybe they learned from their mistakes and make the show more structure where they can have a big profile match that has a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, there's no excuses. Sometimes you gotta make mistakes to make it better. So
well, that is definitely true. Yep.
Hopefully it works out.
Yes, sir. So next weekend we have Extreme Rules. Is that next weekend?
It's next
weekend. I don't. Yeah, it is next weekend. So I have the lineup. Sheesh. I keep messing my dates up. So I know we're gonna be.
So that I fully understand.
9/20. 9/26, excuse me. So that's 2 weeks from now.
After Dieselmania 5.
All right, that's the night after, so we can watch both. So if you're not, so fans listening, you should purchase. Go to, well, actually, it's being taped. Never mind. Sorry. But if you're in the general New Haven, Connecticut area, please come down to Paradise Alley. Dieselmania 5, it is at the JCC in Woodbridge, Connecticut, and an amazing lineup has already been announced. You can check out our page. You can check out the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Facebook page for that lineup, and you'll be impressed. Trust me. And this guy right here, that's here, well, I can't say next to me, but next to me in the video, taking on the heavyweight champion, Matthias. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that match because I'm actually looking forward to every match. Now that you guys have, over the last week, you guys have made some pretty amazing announcements regarding the show, some that I did not really expect. I thought all the announcements had been already made. You guys, Karen,
yeah, go ahead.
Karen Bam Bam is making her return to Paradise Alley. I'm excited. I'm a big fan of hers. I like her a lot. Colin King, TJ Crawford, right? I got that right. House of Pain in the Haven, and you and Matthias. And I know I'm missing something. I'm sorry to anybody that's listening. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I don't have it right here in front of me. I'm going off the top of my head.
I mean, that's why I'm here to help you out. So basically, September 25th, you got PAPW Dieselmania. Like you said, at the JCC, we return back to the JCC, is a pre-tape Fight TV event. Yep. Basically, you will be on Fight TV if you show up because it's going to be pre-taped. And you got myself versus Matthias for PAPW Championship. You got HOP versus the Haven in a first ever tag team ladder match for the PAPW Tag Team Championship. And then you got Karen Bam Bam, she can return back to PAPW. And what else was announced? Oh, just today, PAPW announced Jared Diaz versus Mick Drake.
That's one I was missing. Yep. And there's going to be a Battle Royal as well.
Yes, there's going to be a Michael J. D'Angelo Battle Royal. So there's going to be a first ever one. And it's just a stacked show. I heard more announcements is coming. And then I got an also email from Mario, so hopefully it's some type of big deal. I got my my dog over here doing a running on me. Basically, that's Lucy over here. Show how to
That's
act.
awesome.
She's just like she thinks she's a dog. So what's going on? So she may even be in the battle royal too. You just never know.
Let's see it.
Yeah, we got a stacked show. It's from Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling. I want y'all to come down, check out the brand that just keep on continuously growing in the Northeast area, and just continue the growth. And Rick Del Santos keep on continuing the love for the company.
Always.
And just make sure you check out PAPW, check out the PWZ podcast on all the updates and social media on hand. And I appreciate the support, and I appreciate the support from Rick as well.
Now, I had Mario on earlier in the week. Is that early in the week? Well, today's the beginning of the week, so last week. And I got to tell you, I had such a fun time talking to him, and literally, there's so much more. So I have to do a part 2, but he's, I had so much more that I wanted to ask him. We got into so much other stuff that I really feel that I need to do a part 2. So if anybody has not listened to that interview I did with Mario Mancini, WWE legend, please go check it out. It was one of my favorite episodes I've ever done. It really has. And one of the things I want to say is that he was talking about October, and October seems like it's going to be an insane month for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. So, I mean, he was talking about, was it 2 Taco Fests that you guys are doing, one up in Maine? And then not to mention however many other insane shows that you guys are doing. So, I mean, best of luck to you. I'm going to try to be at every single one of them. That I try my best to.
Well, hopefully, if I know you love PAPW, I respect it.
Absolutely.
we are going to be before Limitless. The Limitless run on the same day. So Limitless, you got enough time to come see us at Taco Fest at Old Orchard Beach in Maine, and then you can swing on to Limitless and go watch Limitless. So it's not like we're trying to mess up anything. So you can watch double the action, PAPW and Limitless, all together one day.
Oh, man, I might have to make a trip to Maine if I'm not away. My son, it's basketball season for my son, so I travel a lot, so that affects how many wrestling shows I am actually going to. So if I can get up to that Taco Fest and then go to Limitless, I might. It might just be an insane day, to be honest with you, for me. So, anyways, we got a few minutes left, about another 40 or whatever, 20 or so.
Uh-huh.
Not that we have time limits. We never really have time limits, but. So, not to mention, you made your Northeast debut last night. Is it next week you're having another debut, or is it the week after? It's the next week, right? You're making your debut in Shut Up and Wrestle?
Shut Up and Wrestle. They have their Shut Up and Wrestle heavyweight championship tournament, and they already posted their brackets up. So
I have that. Yep.
You're going to put in that work, my guy, to bring some gold to PWZ. You know what I'm saying? So
I need you to show up with that on the show.
Yeah, I got to show up with like 2 belts, like come with the Shut Up and Wrestle and the PAPW one.
Who is it that was it? Tyrus shows up on Fox now with the NWA TV title.
Yeah, so, I got something. I got the gold edition of the PWZ.
There you go. The brackets. I do have a screenshot of the brackets. I'm going to post it to our Facebook page. Go check that out. So it's very interesting. This tournament is stacked. There's a lot of really good stuff coming up there. I got to tell you, between the end of the month, September into October, it just seems like it's going to be a really awesome time for wrestling in our area in the Northeast. So I'm looking forward to it. So
now we got the Big Jim tribute show, which is Best Strength, PAPW, Shut Up and Wrestle, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, all on one show. So I think it's October 8th. I gotta check the date, but that's gonna be a big show, super show for all the promotions that's involved. It's for a great cause, for a great brother, and just tune in on social media, whether it's Paradise Alley social media, whether it's Shut Up and Wrestle social media, Blood, Sweat, and Tears social media, or Test Strength social media. Just check it out. And more information is out. The card is out as well, some of the card, and some more news will come out soon.
We'll be posting it and keeping everybody updated as well on our social media. So that's a major thing. We like to support our wrestling in the Northeast. Absolutely. So we have a beautiful scene here. So what else do you have that you want to talk about here?
Did we talk about SmackDown?
I didn't get to watch that.
At the Madison Square Garden, at the home movie. The return.
I've heard. I was invited to go, and then I looked at ticket prices, and I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Do you know I know that there was tickets that were going for like $1,000 at some places, and I was like, "You've got to be."
I mean, luckily, I will be at Dynamite at Alpha Stadium, so I will be there. But I'm just gonna say it. I kind of expected Madison Square Garden to be expensive because even when I went to the joint New Japan show, that was kind of hard to get tickets for that. So I understand fully.
I tried to get tickets for that. I'm going to tell you, they did the pre-sale and they sold however many during the pre-sale at whatever price. And then the following day, was the regular sale and everything sold out like super quick. I couldn't get online. So I was just annoyed. So I just I gave up. I gave up. I said, fuck it. And then I ended up watching it on TV instead. So at least I didn't have to drive or anything like that. I sat home and had some beers. So, that's what I'm into. So yeah.
You're getting a beer at the arena.
Well, not for what I can imagine at MSG, they got to be at least minimum $10, right? Something like that.
bottle.
Now, mind you, I'm probably gonna have probably 4 or 5 or more. So knowing how I am, so so
Merch, because it's not like you get the merch online if you really
right. I mean, because they have exclusive merch for that was the G1 for the Ring of Honor and New Japan show, so they had like a lot of exclusive merch that didn't end up coming out online. They had shirts and hats and kind of a lot of really other cool stuff that I saw. Yeah.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
SmackDown was real good. You had the Brock Lesnar return. You had
Oh,
the
that part
return
I did see. I'm sorry.
Fowler, and then the Becky and Bianca keep on building. So Extreme
Mm-hmm.
getting stacked. So it was a great show that WWE haven't put on for a long time, but they made sure they treated the Garden well.
I mean, it was their home for decades, really. You know what I mean? So it's like they have to really try and put something really good on there.
Yeah,
And I know that I've gone to house shows there back in the day. They weren't necessarily the greatest house shows because by the time I was old enough to go up to the to the Garden, I was in my adulthood. You know what I mean? So it was like the crowds are always super special there at Madison Square Garden, as opposed to going to, say, a show in New Haven or wherever, what have you. The Garden is just a special show. So
nah,
I got to go back and watch it though. So
nah. Just go back. It's a great watch. It was a good SmackDown, especially on a special day. It was the day before September 11th.
mhm.
Also, before we swing into that, obviously we had a loss in the wrestling community, which was Daphne. We
Yeah,
didn't.
we haven't talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was an unfortunate loss for Daphne. Great talent that stood out during the dying days of WCW, and I just want to give condolences to the family and friends, and just I understand Rick may agree with me as well. If you feel like you're alone and you can't, you feel like you just at wit's end, just talk to somebody. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Just it doesn't matter. It could be a friend, it could be an associate. Just talk to somebody. You're not alone,
Hmm.
and you talk about something. You can get help. You know what
You
I'm
can
saying?
get help. Yeah.
Yo, we could post the suicidal hotline along with this episode, but at the end of the day, you're not alone. It's not over. So just understand that life is life, but it's not over. It's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So I just want to throw that in because it was a tragic loss that didn't need to happen, and I know we didn't touch on that during All Out recap.
No, right. We didn't because it happened just a few days before that, and we just talked about All Out that day. And it is very tragic. And now, if you watched any of the videos that came out, she did it via Instagram Live. She went on and she was crying and all this stuff and posting random stuff on Instagram. And some idiot, I shouldn't say idiot, idiots
Yes.
took the videos and put it to YouTube. Now, mind you, like all of her with that entire thing. And when we were gathering stuff for the episode, like last week, I was looking stuff up to try to gather information, and we never got to it. And I really hate that. And I came across people taking those Instagram live videos of her talking the night that she passed away, and that
Yeah.
she was talking. And I wouldn't say she threatened to. It's just that she, whatever, she was crying, and I felt really awful for her. You know what I mean? Watching that video. I just want people to know it's just like there is someone to talk to. I know that some people talked about that she had suffered some really terrible injuries during her time in TNA that may have affected her in her brain. So there is always somebody out there. Just reach out to somebody and somebody will help you. There is suicide hotlines, like you said. It's just everybody gets down at times. I don't know how to say it. I'm not very good with this stuff. It's somebody, and people get, it's life is not easy. It's really not. I mean, especially adulthood and dealing with stuff. So just reach out to somebody if you're feeling the way, that you do. If you're feeling like negative and down, just reach out and somebody will definitely talk to you and help you.
Nah, absolutely. I done been through personal stuff that get me deep down depressed, and some people are different than others. Some people can handle it differently. I have sat here and sometimes I talk to you, sometimes I don't. I just sit there and just think to myself, but
Mhm.
it just everybody's different. So I just want to say, like, if you need help and you feel like you need to talk to somebody, I'm here. Rick is here. Anybody's here. Side hotline. You're not alone. If you need help, trust me, we can chat and help you out instead of just taking a situation and turning it into a tragedy that don't need to be done. So
Absolutely.
it's just unfortunate. We talked about Daphne. Smack.
What about?
Oh, one more
Go ahead.
thing. The Rampage. The
Go for
match
it.
between Pac and Andrade. That was.
Okay,
Did
go
you
for
get
it.
that?
No, I'm sorry, dude. Like I'm usually today, I really expected to catch up on all my wrestling today. Um,
Listen, I understand. Like, I respect it because I'm just gonna be real about it, and obviously people going like it's too much wrestling. It's too
yes, it is, and
much. Me
I
and you, full time job. I love entertaining the people that watch us. But
right
it's too much wrestling. I watch what he
there
don't
is.
watch. He watch what I don't watch.
Well, not for nothing. I think this week I really only got to watch the NWA, which that's the one that I make sure I'm in front of my TV at 6 o'clock every Tuesday for. And I was actually, this is the first time in months I was in front of my TV at 8 p.m. for Dynamite in months because I was just like I really was like built up for that Moxley and uh, Suzuki match. Like I was really amped up. Normally I try to put everything on during the day when I'm at work. You know what I mean? I DVR everything. Sometimes I don't get to it because I answer phones 8 hours a fucking day. So, so mind you, and then so Friday night, I'm trying to think what the hell I even did. Friday nights I'm at basketball practice, so I don't get to watch SmackDown and Rampage live. I get home in the middle of Rampage, so I don't want to catch stuff in the middle of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I normally either watch it in the morning or what have you. So I think my Saturday was spent. I felt like I ran around as an adult, being a parent and husband, doing stuff the entire day Saturday, and Sunday there was a lot more calm. But I just never ended up getting to a period. I just went grocery shopping. That was the only thing I actually left the house for today. So. And that, like, I still could not find the time doing stuff around the house to sit and catch up on everything else I needed to catch up on. But I did take some notes for this show as far as everything else that we discussed.
Mm-hmm. Nah, listen. I enjoy sitting and talk about the week of wrestling. The bullet points that matter. I
Yep.
can't sit here and what moves that they did or what the
Right.
finish was. I cannot listen. I love the viewers that watch us, but I'm not gonna sit there and say all that. All you gotta do is just sit there and watch. But I will tell you the bullet points of what's going on. Transition to the pay per view, and not only that, Rampage and AEW, and then whatever's happening in Independence. I respect it. Me and Rick try hard with our busy
Mm-hmm.
life, do what we need to do, and
Absolutely.
I being on here. I appreciate Rick having me here every Sunday, nights into Monday. We just don't air till Monday, but being
Yep.
here every, entertaining y'all guys, letting y'all know what's going on in the wrestling world and talking about the brothers in the wrestling and even wrestling beyond, even the past. So I enjoy doing it, and we're gonna continue to keep on putting out this content.
It's going to get better. I promise you. And I'm going to, I do try to keep up on everything. It's just sometimes my Friday night wrestling. And I mean, IWTV. Do you watch stuff on IWTV, the independent wrestling,
I
whatever?
subscribe. I need to subscribe and check that out as well.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to branch out and start looking at independent promotions as well.
I mean, they air probably sometimes anywhere from 4 to like 6 or even more independent shows between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday sometimes. That's not to mention all the weekly television that they stream, I should say, stream, whatever. I guess stream is the new word for it, but in 2021. So, but it's just like, it's hard to keep up. Like, I have the app on my phone. I get a ding every couple hours when a show is about to air. It's just like, man, I was like, I wish I could sit down and watch this 3 or 4 hour show. You know what I mean? I just, being an adult, it's just, and a parent and a husband, it's very hard to sometimes sit and watch everything. A lot of times I'm sitting there on the couch with my wife and watching shit on my tablet to try to keep up stuff as she's watching stuff on the regular TV. Because I'm not going to sit there and make her watch, AEW Dynamite or Monday Night Raw or the NWA. So.
Nah, I fully understand. I sit there and say it to this day, even though we got WWE Network that's now Peacock. I just wish I had when I was in high school, because, like, dude, I be watching wrestling from 8 hours.
Absolutely.
Have to do it, but we make it happen, and we hopefully we entertain the folks that continuously watch us, and hopefully we get the people that continuously come in here and grow and spread the word out. I enjoy it. I enjoy sitting here talking about the bullet points of what's going on in the week of wrestling and the news, and not only Paradise Alley, but other promotions as well. And there's like,
go ahead.
Anybody that want to sit here and send Q&As to us, I'm down.
Yeah, man. I definitely fully intend to get SmackDown and Rampage into my life on a regular basis, at least so we can talk about it. You know what I mean? I'll catch minor things here and there, and then sometimes I'll forget them. I need to take notes better sometimes while watching that stuff, because it's, like I said, it's busy times, man. But we try to bring you the best content that we possibly can in professional wrestling.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yes, sir. So I don't think I have any other notes that I need to talk about. Actually, wait, the MLW signed 2 really great wrestlers recently. Did you see this on Twitter? And they signed Slice Boogie and Danny Rivera to full-time contracts.
Okay.
So I think Slice Boogie is an amazing young talent who I've watched in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and the NWA. And I think this guy is going places. Obviously, MLW, him and Danny Limelight Rivera have recently made their debut in MLW, as a tag team. They were tag team in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood over there. So now that these guys are more than well deserving, are you familiar with either of these 2 characters?
No, I'm not, but I know MLW is trying to update their talent roster. Just continues to grow and branch out to different places that they can get out to. I know, they on Being Sports, and then, they branched out Vice. So MLW continue to grow, even though, you have Richard Holiday on the roster as well. So
we gotta shout out our local guy because he's every time we gotta shout him out. No problem. I love shouting out Richard Holiday every time, because it's always good to see a local guy make good. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So MLW doing their thing, and continue to grow with the bankroll that they have, the limit that they have. So they're doing a lot of moves. The bank they already have. I don't know what the bankroll is, but it's good enough.
Danny Limelight made many appearances in the AEW. He wrestled for mostly AEW Dark, but he was there featured basically weekly for a good portion of a year. And then he made a few Dynamite appearances as well. This kid is amazing to watch. I'm telling you, he is cool as hell. And Slice Boogie, I'm more familiar with him in the NWA and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Another great talent. A lot of people think I'm crazy when I say this, but he's reminiscent of the Dynamite Kid in many ways. Some people think I'm nuts for saying it, but pay attention, folks. This kid's going to be a star. I'm telling you right now.
I met Danny Limelight at a XWA show, which was like a month and a half ago, and he was a cool guy. And the
Mhm.
talent shows even more. And I'm glad for him that he's at MLW and MLW continue to grow. Even though you got you and WWE around there, there's more talent out there that got released that still could get used with these new talents that they're signed. So it's just great talent that's mushing together with other talent, So
Mhm.
yeah,
I think MLW is a great company. They had a stint in the earlier 2000s for a few years and then shut down. And then I don't know how many years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago,
yeah,
Court Bauer started running up shows again. And the product is slightly different, I guess. It's more so fans of the, I'd have to say maybe older NWA, maybe some ECW type stuff. It's just a little bit smaller arenas and darkened a little bit. But
it
what
has that
happened?
feel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but what happens in the ring is 100% authentic. You know what I mean? It's phenomenal. It's just something to really focus on because it's just they have one of the better shows that is out there today. It's better than Monday Night Raw. I'll just put it that way. Okay. so, so
3 hours, 3 hours.
3 hours
I
and
that hours.
MLW is a 1 hour show. Actually, it's very and not only is it on Vice or in BN Sports, but it's also on YouTube too. I think every Wednesday, or at least they were. I know showing it every Wednesday, and it's just 1 hour. You can sacrifice 1 hour. I mean, if you can sit through 3 hours of shitty wrestling on Monday nights, you can watch 1 hour of good wrestling on a Wednesday night or whatever night of the week that they focus on, and the talent that they have there. They got Jacob Fatu, Richard Holiday, who else is in there? Jesus. I'm trying to think. They got Hammerstone still in there. Is he correct? Yep. They got Limelight and Boogie, and the roster's endless, man. And they work a lot with
Casey
yeah,
Navarro.
absolutely. That guy's phenomenal. Yeah. Um, and they've had some just really great champions, or wrestlers in their company. Low Key was their champion for a long time, and that guy was just sheesh, man. That guy was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's shitty wrestling for Raw. They're
All right, maybe
producing.
I was a little harsh.
No. It's understandable. The podcasts that I listen to, they the same way. But you gotta understand, these talents are producing what they're given,
Yep.
and I praise them. They get paid for it. I respect it, but that 3 hours is a job. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
tell you that. Right?
Yes.
It's a job.
It's hard to sit through. It really is hard to sit through.
Yeah, it is.
I know we've probably said it before, but when you were a kid or younger, it's awfully exciting to sit through Monday Night Raw because you might get that quality match or something insane was going to happen. Now it's just like, I don't know. It's like watching a paper bag sit on your table or something. It's not interesting by any means. So,
No, I fully understand. I mean, truthfully, I'm trying to think because I
what
was
did
3 hour nitros. And 3 hour nitros, it wasn't
those?
that bad until we got to the Vince Russo era. We got to the Vince Russo era, then it was super
But
light.
if you watched it, Vince Russo, after a while, said, "Hey, this 3 hour stuff is too
Yeah, he
much."
was like, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he cut it. He's like, "We don't need 3 hours."
Uh,
But the thing with the 3 hours of Nitro is just like a guy can go out there and cut a 45-minute promo. Now I know we've talked about certain companies and guys coming out there cutting 45-minute promos in the past, but it's just like a 3 hour show. There you go. It's three-quarters of the show or a quarter of the show already happened. You know what I mean? It's like, but they
Sway Hogan at the time, and
yeah,
then shoot, and then the next is damn like but it started at 8 o'clock, right? So it was like probably what 10:45, and then they at the main event. But it was like they
it
did
always
it
ran
different.
over too. Yeah, it always
Yeah,
ran over.
So you didn't know the difference, but still they had 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But this right here, like, no bull crap, dude. Like, I'm sitting there. I didn't watch this like legit. I know, I know people enjoy watching this because I talk to people that enjoy watching this. Like, I legit watched this Raw. It took me 2 days to watch this Raw because
I
Raw,
believe it.
like,
I believe it.
like it's a chore. Like, I'll go to sleep, and it's like, and then I'm like, damn, I overslept or whatever, and then I'll look at it again, and then I'm getting tired because I don't watch the first hour, 20-minute episode, then probably 2.5 matches or whatever. I'm not like and I'm sure you agree too. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and crap on the talent because the talent is
It's
there.
definitely right. It's definitely not the talent. I've always expressed that WWE has the greatest roster in professional wrestling. There's a reason. There's a reason why they're in WWE because they're just amazing talents. You know what I mean? It's the largest wrestling promotion in the world for the last 40 years, probably close to. So
Yeah. So
it's not the It's not the roster.
I know there's people out there that sit there and take certain words, twist them. I'm just gonna say the wrestlers there. I enjoy them. I enjoyed them for years. I respect the work that they do because I do it as well. It's just the fact is, like, 3 hours is a long time, and the time that y'all given, I respect it. But 3 hours is a long time. It's a long time, and it seemed like they're just trying to produce anything possible to fill in those 3 hours just for this. And this right here is making me be like, listen, I don't want to watch Raw. I can watch SmackDown, I can watch Rampage, I can watch Dynamite, I can watch NWA if I wanted to. Just 3 hours is too long. If you made 3 hours like Nitro, then it'd be different. I'd be like, okay, well, I can watch this all day.
Did you see the diversity in Nitro at that time period? There was the cruiserweights. There was the just whatever regular wrestling. I don't know how to call it, but wrestling. But there was the cruiserweight matches, which were basically the majority of that division was lucha libre guys. So you got that kind of stuff, and then there was just all sorts of interesting stuff. It wasn't necessarily terrible. It was good. You know what I mean? It kept your interest way more. And there was no picture in picture. That's the other thing.
Oh.
So, yeah.
But I bet you if they knew that back in the day, they would have. I'm just gonna let you know that.
I'm sure that Ted Turner definitely would have. So, absolutely. But it's all, like you said, money. It's all money.
Yeah.
That's what it all boils down to. So,
we'll try to make this show like this. The little fingers do that. JR and Comrade got the create the cash. We just gonna do the show with this. That's what it's about.
You have anything else you want to throw out to tonight?
Nah, man, we covered everything. I hope we entertain everybody, and just follow me at Showtime Marcel on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, Marcel. Chat with me, send me some messages, let me know how you like the show, and just follow me on the shows. Like I said, I'm on Shut Up and Wrestle this Saturday on the 18th. You check social media, I'll share that, and Test Your Strength and all PAPW joining together for the Big Jim show, and then Diesel Mania 5 on September 25th. Fight TV listings will be advertised after the show, pre-taped.
And don't forget, there will be crap. I forgot what I was going to say.
It happens. It's the beer.
It happens. It's the beer. And don't forget, this is what I remembered. There is an Alley Fights this coming Friday night, right? Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Alley Fights. Go check the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Facebook page. Check our Facebook page. Check out at PWZ Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Okay, I got that right. And check out at the Rick Del Santo on Twitter. Tweet me at all that stuff, and at pwzpodcast at gmail.com. And let's talk. Let's get some wrestling news. Let's do a Q&A, like Marcel said. Let's get some feedback here, guys. I like talking to you guys. Maybe sometimes, unless you're gonna drive me nuts. But that's the other thing. Anyways, folks, Have a great evening.
Yeah. Be well, be safe. Have a good night. Let's send them off, Rick.